I don't know if I'm the first host to ever say this, but we should have our guest today remix that intro. That'd be really interesting. He's been on quite the rise since he first burst onto the scene back in 2014. His new song, Like I Love You, on Spotify alone has about 35 million streams, and there's a good reason for it. It sounds amazing. Let's give it up for Lost Frequencies. All right, joining us on stage, Lost Frequencies.
Hi.
The bright lights come on, right?
Yeah.
It's exciting. Thanks for stopping by, though, man.
Thanks for having me. This is my first TV here, so in the US, so I'm excited.
It's so exciting. How much time do you spend in New York?
I've been here since Sunday, so I'm playing tomorrow night here, and then I'm leaving to San Diego.
Oh, nice. We just had a band from San Diego. That's actually hilarious.
Oh, well, maybe I see them there tomorrow.
Yeah, hey, they're called Switchfoot. Maybe they'll be in the crowd. Where are you playing in New York City?
Lavo on Friday.
Okay, very cool. Do you, the music you make, electronic music, DJ sets, they're a little different than a rock show. Do you notice a different vibe from city to city? Like, will a New York crowd be into the music differently than, say, a San Diego crowd?
I guess so, because last time I was here, I was playing Terminal 5 with Don Diablo. So it was like a real electronic music show for the whole evening. But here it's really more multicultural. I think there are also a lot of, for me, I come from Belgium, so there were Belgian people in the crowd. New York is really people from everywhere. I guess when I'm in San Diego, it's more really people from San Diego.
Yeah.
So it's a more American crowd somehow. So the vibe is always different, that's for sure.
How does that difference in crowd affect the music and the set for your show?
Well, I'm always trying to play my big songs. That's for sure. I'm always trying to play them somewhere in the set. But then when it's mostly for me, it's more the where I am that's gonna play a big impact on what I'm gonna play. Like sometimes I'm coming on a private party, it's like a small room, then I'm gonna play more intimate kind of stuff than if I'm going on a big stage. And then the reaction from the people is gonna also involve like what I'm gonna play next and what's coming up. Yeah,
that's the most fascinating part of electronic music and DJ sets to me, is that the set can change so much. How much does it change from the idea you have going in and then what actually happens?
Sometimes I'm in my hotel room like, oh, I'm going to play those tracks tonight. It's going to be nice. I'm going to try all those tracks. And then I come and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to try any of those. I'm going to play something completely different because I was thinking about a completely different vibe. But it always turns out to be a really cool evening when I'm really happy because all the shows I have lately are all really cool. So I'm really thankful.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've been on such a roll. The science of the set, I'm fascinated by this, and I rarely get to talk to DJs like yourself, or artists, I should say, like yourself. Do you know the song you're going to start with, and then you're going to end with, and then in the middle is sort of like up in the air?
Yeah, so I know so I always have like the outro and the intro because I always have like a special intro I make for the tour. Like for this tour, I've been playing a remix I did from Armin van Buuren as first track, which always has like a good mood because it's a mix between like I can play it in an intimate club and on a big stage.
Yeah.
So I always start off with this track, and then from the second track on, and I go further on, and I end with the track, and in between I play my hits, and then and then in between all those tracks I change some tracks. Yeah.
That's awesome. You grew up in Belgium, you said.
Yes.
What kind of music were you listening to growing up?
I've been listening to a lot of different stuff, but then I went to a boarding school where everybody was listening to electronic music.
Yeah.
So I listened to a lot of dance music, but then it's very broad because in Belgium we have like very famous artists like Netsky, which is more drum and bass. We have people like Dimitri Vegas, like Mike, which are more like really EDM, and then we have girls like Charlotte de Witt, which is more techno. Like we have broad acts from all kind of genres, so we get to see each other on big festivals everywhere in the world, but we play very different kinds of music. So I listen to every one of them, and I get influenced by every one of them. So yeah, I try to pick up stuff that I like from every different genre.
Sounds like an amazing community.
Yeah, people are actually very nice in Belgium. It's nice.
Yeah.
Everybody here is also very nice.
Not to say we're not nice in New York. Well, you live in LA now, right?
Oh, no, I live in Brussels.
Oh,
I was in LA for 1 week last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever collaborate when you're in LA? Because you talk about community. That's an interesting community as far as artists go in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm actually very scared of studio sessions with other people because I'm kind of nerdy behind my computer doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I get scared when I'm with other artists in the studio. I did it a few times with other artists, and it was a really cool experience. But I do it with people that I know.
Yeah.
From other stuff. So I'm not really going in studios with people that I don't know because it scares me a little bit. But I went in the studio, like I said, with Netsky, the guy from Belgium, and with Zonderling, which is also other producers. And it's a different vibe when I know them already. I get more in confidence when I don't know them at all. So yeah.
I totally get it. I honestly don't know how artists do it, right? Because you're there to work, but then there's also this sort of like first date element where you want to seem cool and you want to make a good impression. But then, like you said, like you're there to work. You're invested in the computer. You're invested in the music.
Yeah.
It must be nerve-wracking.
It does. I have it sometimes when I'm with people and I get really scared, and then I just do really bad stuff.
Right, and then you're awkward.
Then I'm like, oh, I hope we had a good time today, and it was actually bad.
Yeah. What's the most magical session you've ever had with another artist where things just flowed so easy, the song came out great? Does one come to mind?
It was with Netsky.
Yeah.
Because he's doing a completely different kind of music than me, and we didn't want to make music that would be Lost Frequencies. We didn't want to make music that was Netsky, so it was a mix in between. And it turned out to be like a very weird kind of track sounding like, but it was very emotional, and I had a great time also. Then we ended up drinking gin in the studio, and it was amazing.
That's awesome. Your music's really fascinating to me because, like, on some songs, like, do I have the title right? Are You With Me?
Yeah.
Right. So I thought that's what it's called. But the vocals on that, it almost sounds like a country song.
Yeah, it's actually.
You get that a lot?
Yeah, but when I was before when I was producing, I only had like a laptop, so I didn't had any sound card or any studio gear, which is still kind of expensive if you want to buy everything. So I wanted to make music, but I didn't have all the good quality sounds. So I was sampling a lot of stuff, and I sampled this track "Are You With Me" from Easton Corbin, which is a country singer from the US.
Oh.
And I took the track, I sped it up. And I only took the parts where there is no drums, so he's singing in loop the first sentence of the song, and then I made my version of it. I put it on SoundCloud, and then my label Armada found it. They signed the track. We re-recorded the whole guitar and vocal stuff, and then we released it as a single, and it turned out to be like a really big hit in Europe.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love it. It just was something you don't typically hear, electronic music.
Yeah, but it's not like. I didn't really think about the fact that it was country. I just heard the original version. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I was looking for stuff to sample. So it turned out to be a really good sample moment. So yeah.
You have a great remix of. You guys remember the song "Cold Water" from a couple years ago? Justin Bieber was a big hit. Yeah. You did a great remix of that song.
Yeah, the Major Lazer asked me to do a remix, which was pretty cool. So I got all the stems, and I got like Mo stems and Justin Bieber stems, vocals,
Yeah.
like separate. I always like to see like how people record the vocals in the studios in different ways. So I got everything, and then I started to make the remix, and it turned out to be like a good remix. People liked it, so I'm really happy.
So yeah, I mean, like, remixes happen all the time, but I feel like us as fans, like, we never know exactly how it goes down. So they'll send you what, like the actual project, like a file of this big hit song?
It depends. Like what I'm doing when I'm asking for remixes, I'm always doing like a compact stems. Like I'm doing the bass line, the drums, the vocal, the keys, and maybe that's it. To make it easy for people to like see what you want, and maybe if they want something more specific, they can always ask me. But sometimes what I get is, I did a remix not so long ago for American Boy from Estelle.
Yeah.
And they sent me like so much stuff, like so much vocals, and I had to spend the whole afternoon just figure out what I was going to use and what I was going to take out. And but for Major Lazer, they send me all the vocals apart, and like what I usually do, like they make groups of the whole stems, and it's easy to actually see what you want to use.
Well, like getting back to just like the fans' perspective, right? It's like we hear a remix, we know it sounds different. It's like a new adaptation on the song. But you, as an artist, is it an instinct? Is it a gut feeling of like you're given this song, and I'm sure you know of the song. That song specifically, "Cold Water," was a huge hit. How do you figure out where you're going to take that song sonically? Because you can take it in so many different ways.
Yeah, I can. Usually what I try to do is I try to speed it up to be able to play it in my sets, because
Okay.
I'm usually playing like between 120 and 125.
Okay.
But it didn't work out on Cold Water because I didn't want to speed up Justin Bieber's vocals.
Right.
So I delete the most of the original part because I don't want to sound too much close to the original version. I kept the guitar because it's always nice to have guitar sounds. I like guitar sounds, and I kept. I remember the FX stem, so there is only one part where all the echoes and the reverbs are on, and I kept it to use to do different stuff, and then I created all the rest and add new stuff and just cut and tried things, and at the end I did the remix I did.
That's cool. Do you? How often do you hear music in your everyday life, be it on Spotify, Apple Music, the radio, and you're like, oh, I could do something cool with that song. I could actually make that song really cool.
Not so much now anymore because now I'm really more focused on making original songs.
Yeah.
But sometimes usually when I hear a track that I want to sample, it's usually people singing in the street. Like the other day, I heard 4 guys singing a cappella, and I was like, oh, I want to record those guys and use them on a track, But it's when it's more organic somehow. I like it more than hearing new pop music on the radio. I like it, but I get less inspired than when it's some guys playing right here on the students' place, playing jazz or something. It's really more inspiring.
Yeah, I mean that's a raw canvas. You can make that anything. When you talk about these guys.
Hopefully,
in the street. That's so cool.
It sounds really cool.
So you talk about making original music, and you're making incredible original music. I want to get down to sort of like square one. Lost Frequencies. That sort of moniker or that name. Where does that come from? What's the meaning?
So when I said I was sampling a lot of stuff. Before that I was doing a lot of original songs. But it was only instrumental. So I did like my older brother. He kept them all. So he has like 100 instrumentals I did when I was younger. But at some point I wanted to use vocals and remix stuff. And then I started to remix only tracks that I used to like before, and that I didn't listen per se anymore. And those tracks would be the Lost Frequencies. And that's where my name come from. And that's when I started the project.
That's awesome. And then, of course, you've given us incredible music since. Like I Love You. I mean, this is an earworm. You listen to this song, you got to listen to this song like 5 straight times. You know what I mean? It just gets in your head, and it is just so incredibly catchy. Take me back to how this song started.
Well, this is actually pretty funny because I released an album 2 years ago, then another one, and then I said I was never going to release an album again because it's so hard to promote on Spotify and stuff like that. And then in the end, I am actually releasing an album in a few months, and the album was kind of finished. And then I got a demo from the neighbors, which is the 2 guys from LA. It was like a demo track. They sent me through my label and to the publishing, like, hey, we want to get this to Lost Frequencies. Maybe he likes it. And when I got it, I was like, maybe I can add this to the album and make it a single. So I called with the guys and talked about like what they were seeing actually with the track, how they felt about it. And then I started to produce a whole instrumental, and we recorded some other vocals and finished the tracks. I actually did a lot of different versions of the track. When you listen to it at the end, it gets really more electronic. I really like that part. It was supposed to be like the drops for the whole track, but it was a little bit too weird somehow, so I just left it out for the end and made it more like guitar organic sounds for the first drops. So yeah, it was actually a fun kind of work around on this track and release it.
You like the guitar, it sounds like.
Yeah, I really like the guitar sounds.
What do you like about the guitar so much?
I like it a lot because I guess before I liked it really a lot because I couldn't record it. And maybe that's why I really liked it, because I couldn't have it and I was trying to find it everywhere. But now that I have it, I'm actually working with a guitarist. He's a really, like I usually play melodies on the piano. I send it to him. I send references and he plays them, records it in a really good way, and then I can use it in my projects. And it's so nice to have like all those guitar tracks and just choose and pick out, and yeah, it's nice. I like it.
The music video, which I'm not sure if we still have it, it'd be awesome if we could bring it up. But if not, the video sort of like shows a month in the life. I mean, this is a wild ride. Here, give you a taste of what it's like to be Lost Frequencies. You have a very fun-looking life, man.
Yeah, hanging around on tour is really cool.
So crazy. It must be a blur. Just goes by so fast, right?
It goes by really fast. A lot of things happen. And when I see the video again, I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. Oh, crazy stuff.
Yeah. Did you always want to do this?
No, actually, I just wanted to make some music. I was never picturing myself to be a DJ, but it's also really nice.
Yeah, well, it's paying off. Congratulations on all the success.
Thanks.
We're going to kick it to a fan right now who's got a question for you. It's going to come from right over here.
Hi. I wanted to ask, like, as being a musician, what were some difficulties that you came across, and what's some advice you could give to upcoming artists?
One of my biggest problem I had when I was coming up was my management. I had a few management issues and trying to go left and right, find somebody that I really trust. And advice I can give you is read the contract for sure. So yeah, I mean now that I have a really good manager and I have a good band with him, it really helps out. He's doing a lot of stuff for me that I don't have to think about it anymore. And I think that for me was really a game changer. And it all starts to change really quick when he was involved.
Thank
Great
you.
question. Read the contract.
Yeah.
That goes for anyone.
It goes for anyone, yeah.
Do you have we're wrapping up here. We're unfortunately at time, Lost Frequencies, but this album that you're working on, do you have like a release date? When can we expect something like this from?
Well, I'm releasing a single in the beginning of March, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna release another single before the summer with the album.
Oh, nice. And this single in March, does it sound like I Love You?
Yeah, kind of, and then
Cool.
it's going in another different way. Like I have really cool featurings for the next single, so unfortunately I cannot talk about it right now.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of really cool stuff coming up, and I'm super excited.
Well, right on. Well, for his first interview show here in the U.S., he did pretty well, right? Yeah. All right. All right. Lost Frequencies, everybody.